Hey there, this is Andrea with A.D.S. here to bring you the very best in marketing and branding tips, as well as business tips for those of you who are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and personal branders. Welcome and thanks so much for being here. And today I just want you to think about one thing for your 2020, and that is infusing the power of story in your marketing and branding efforts. Story. And I know so many people are talking about story. However, this is a new way to think about it. So there's a simple little process of thinking about story that you're very familiar with through movies, through books, through your favorite stories throughout the years. It's a simple little formula that I'm going to share with you. I'm using it with my clients now, and I figured you might want to know about it for your own efforts in your own business. So take notes, but also in the link below in the description area, you'll see a place where you can download a simple one-pager with all these steps outlined on it, okay? So I want to make sure that you see that. All right, so first, every story has a hero. And the thing to know in business is that you, my dear, are not the hero in this story. The business is actually not the hero. Your job is actually not to save the day. The client, the customer, is the hero. You are the guide. You're like the Yoda. You're like Haymitch in the Hunger Games. You're the guide in this whole thing. And so you're the expert. You're being positioned as the expert. Your customer, we're positioning as the hero. Got it? So you need to clearly define your hero. They need to have a very clear problem. They've got some pain points that you are going to empathize with as the guide. And also you're going to express your own expertise area, your own competency, so that they know, oh yes, this is my Yoda, this is my Haymitch, this is the person I'm supposed to follow in this area, because they know what they're doing, they know what they're talking about. So you pick your hero is your audience, your target audience. So I was just talking to a lady who's in my Instagram online pilot course. And so I'm using her as an example. She's an esthetician. So in her case, the hero is a customer who likes facials, who cares about beauty and aesthetics and all that. So that's her hero. And they have a clear problem, particularly seasonally right now in this dead of fall. Feels like winter sometimes, actually at the moment. People have issues with dry skin. Their skin is dry, it feels flaky, they feel dehydrated, with this cold, bitter weather. So what can they do to fix that? So when they come to see her, an esthetician, they're going to get plenty of treatments for that area to add moisture back into the skin and slough off dead skin and that kind of thing. So anyway, so that's the hero in the esthetician example. If you are a janitorial business, for example, then your hero might be a homeowner if you're residential, or it could be a building owner if you're commercial. And their main issues or main pain points can be quite different between residential and commercial, right? So we're not going to make it too difficult, but let's stick with residential in this example. The hero in that example would be a homeowner who doesn't have the time nor the energy by the time they get home from their long day at work and they're dealing with kids or potentially a spouse. They have no time to deal with chores. Maybe they're not good at it. It's the last thing they want to do. It bothers them, etc., etc. The list can go on and on and on. Cleanliness is a problem. It's a pain point, but they want to have a clean home. And so in addition to the surface level pain points, these external problems we see, there's also internal problems going on here. So not only do we just want a clean home or just want a fresh face in the esthetician example, there's an internal problem with that. So in the esthetician's example, in addition to a lovely, beautiful face, we may internally also not feel good about ourselves, right? And we want something that makes us feel beautiful. So we get a facial. There's an internal problem there that getting a facial can potentially address. Similarly, flip it over to a janitorial role or a house cleaner's role, if that's your business, then that particular person may have the issue, the internal problem. Not only do I need someone to clean my house because I don't have time, but the internal problem is I feel bad. Maybe I feel like I'm failing as a mother, as a wife, as a dad, because our house isn't getting taken care of. I'm too busy. I feel out of control. I feel chaotic. Those are internal problems people are facing in a cleanliness situation, right? In a janitorial situation. So there's also a philosophical problem. So we're addressing, even though it's one pain point we're talking about, one overarching pain point we're talking about, there's several layers to this that we're addressing at the same time. External problems, internal problems, and some kind of philosophical belief. So in the example of the facial, world, a facial could have the philosophical belief of every woman, every person deserves to feel beautiful. Philosophical belief. By buying a facial, that's a philosophical belief that I'm fulfilling by buying. It's because I have that belief, and you as a business owner share that belief. Same thing with, janitorial side. The philosophical belief can be children deserve to live in a home that makes them feel loved, in an environment that makes them feel safe, secure, happy. A clean home is the best start to that. Philosophical belief. So 3 layers to those problems. It's one overarching problem, but it goes deep into 3 layers: external, internal, philosophical belief. Okay, so when people click buy now on your website, or they click schedule that facial, they're really resolving 3 layers of problems all at once. Magic. Okay, so think of those 3 levels of your problems. Next is the storyline, or the climactic experience that you want people to experience. What is the ultimate experience, the holy grail of all this that you want people to have by doing business with you? So in the case of the esthetician, the holy grail there, the whole point of it all, the climactic experience is I walk out of that appointment looking like $1,000,000. My skin is glowing. It's not dry and itchy. It feels great. It feels taken care of. And I, on the inside, feel marvelous for doing that. Okay. And I feel pampered and loved and all that good stuff. So that's the climactic experience we want for the hero, our hero in that situation. That's how she saves her day. And in the case of the janitorial business, the climactic experience is an immaculate home. And you walk in and it feels fresh and beautiful, and you feel in order and calm and peace in your life. That's a climactic experience you potentially want in a janitorial business, right? So I'm sticking with these 2. I don't know why I picked these 2, but hopefully you can start to see some parallels for your own business and how you can make this work, this power of story in your own business. So think of this climactic experience. What is the ultimate of what we want people to experience by working with us? So you remember I said that you are the guide in this process. You're the Yoda, you're the Haymitch. And so how do we position ourselves as the guide? Notice we've not talked about ourselves, the company, this whole time. We've been in hero world. We are drawing people into our story by positioning them as a hero in our story. And now it is our time to position ourselves as the guide in this story. So we've already expressed their pain points, their 3 levels of issues associated with their pain. And now we're going to and we've also shared what the climactic experience is, so what they can expect to get by working with us, by becoming a client. Now's our one time to be on braggalicious mode. So many business owners, especially new ones, feel very humble in this area. They don't want to brag. They don't want to talk about themselves. And some people talk way too much about themselves, right? So they talk way too much. This is the point in the story where you have the opportunity to demonstrate competency, and where you should, and also where you should express empathy. So you express empathy By letting the people know, you know what they're going through. You absolutely know. You're going to describe the problem better than they can themselves in this area. Express empathy. In the case of the esthetician, I know what it feels like to have itchy, dry, flaking, sloughing off skin in the dead of winter and fall. It's just so dry, itchy. It can even be painful. Your skin is dull. You just are missing that warm, beautiful summer glow and all of this. So you're expressing empathy. In the case of the janitorial situation, I know what it feels like to have a house, a business area, whatever that's out of order. It's not clean, everything's chaotic, it's a mess. You feel a mess. You feel like a failure at home because things are just in disarray and you feel chaotic. Your life feels chaotic. You're expressing empathy and you know what it feels like to been there, done that. You know. And so they need to hear you say that. They need to know that you're right there with them. And next, you want to demonstrate your competency. So this is where you show them, I'm your expert and I know what I'm talking about. So this is where you talk about how many years you've been in business, how long you've been doing this, your success stories, what you've been able to do for people, how great you are, your certifications, all of that. This is the time to be on braggalicious mode. No other point in the story, only just right now. Okay, so express empathy and demonstrate your competency. You are their Yoda, you are their Haymitch. And now that they've decided to work with you, you are going to give your hero a plan. You are the expert to follow. Now here's the plan to follow. Is it a 2-3-step process? So in the case of an esthetician, what I'm going to do with you is you're going to come in, we're going to assess your face, we're going to put all these different lights on it so we can see all the problems you haven't even seen for yourself. And I'm going to give you the plan for the path forward. Here's the most needed areas to address today that we must address, and we're going to get those taken care of. And when you come back, then we'll address these areas. You're giving them a plan of action to follow. Same thing for the house cleaning example. Here's the plan. We're going to come in, we're going to assess your space, we're going to see how many rooms you have, what your biggest problem areas are, what is your highest traffic areas in your carpet that might need to be cleaned, whatever it is, however you do your assessment thing. And then we're going to come back, we're going to put our best cleaners, maids, whatever you call your people, on it, and it's going to be clean exactly the way you want it in X amount of time. And then we're going to follow up with you a week later and make sure that you're happy with your process. So you tell them the process, you give them the plan, give it to them. Okay? That's what the guide does. They give the plan. And lastly, there are two things, a call to action and success or failure. So the call to action is buy. Buy now, buy with us, schedule with us today. You want to give them that plan of action. Schedule your facial, schedule your house cleaning assessment, phone call, whatever you do. Schedule now, book now, buy now. It is positive, it's affirming, it is not passive language like learn more and blah, blah, blah. It is buy now, okay? So that's the call to action. And then finally, like every good story, there's something at stake here. So either they're going to buy with you, they're going to work with you, or they're not. And the consequences of not working with you are you're going to have a sloughy, horrible, dry face all winter if you do not come in today. And in the case of the janitorial business, you're going to continue to live in a world of chaos lest you work with us. However you frame that, there's got to be something at stake here. If you don't click buy now, right now, this is what's going to happen to you. And if you do, guess what? Success. Success for you. That means you're going to walk out of here feeling that wonderful climactic experience we promised. The end. Simple story formula that you can use in your business, in all your content. Instagram, your emails, your website, the way you lay out and message a brochure, your display materials for a trade show and otherwise. Sincerely, use it everywhere. Your elevator pitches, your talks, your speeches, all of it. Message it every time, over and over and over. It's gonna be ridiculous to you, but it's gonna be so ingrained, it's gonna be like breathing. But it's gonna be powerful and impactful for the people who hear it and experience it for the first time and become your customers, ideally for life. So that is it for today. Power of story. I want you to try the power of story in your business. Do you think you can do that? Again, there's a simple little download with all these steps on it below. You can download that for yourself right now. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed sharing it with you. Hope you had a great time. And I hope to see you back here next time. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn at the A.D.S. Agency. That's THEADS, like ads, like advertising, agency. The A.D.S. Agency. That's everywhere. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. The link is below. Subscribe to this channel. Click the little notifications bell so you get notifications every time this video comes up. And like this video. If you liked it, please like it. Leave a comment. Let me know that you are here. I would love, love, love that. It's nice to hear from you. And finally, if you're listening to this on podcast, Apple Podcast, iTunes has become Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you are listening to this on podcast, be sure to rate and review the podcast. I read every single comment. So rate and review us, please. Would love that. And now that is all, people. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Cheers.